What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we build them together or fix them if they are not quite up to snuff. Now, last week, we began our journey in talking about the Bard, and so this week we are talking about our very first subclass, and if this ranks highly enough, then we will build one together later this week, and if not, we will fix it together. This week we're talking about the College of Spirits Bard, new to Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, and I think it is going to be a lot of fun to talk about, seeing how Halloween was this past weekend. I think it is the perfect time to talk about it. Before we jump in, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, the vast majority of viewers of this channel are actually not subscribed, and we are shooting for hopefully getting to 500 by the end of the year. I think it's possible if all of you will just click that button. It really helps out. Click the bell so you're notified whenever I upload new videos, and of course share with your friends. Word of mouth, it's very powerful. I really appreciate when you guys share with your friends. So let's go ahead and see what the College of Spirits Bard has in store for us. So the College of Spirits Bard. I wanted to talk about this one first because Halloween was this past weekend, and I hope you guys had a fun and safe Halloween while trick-or-treating and eating all kinds of candy and getting sick afterwards, and you know, all the good stuff for Halloween. But I hope you guys had a great time. I love Halloween personally. I love Christmas more, but we'll talk about that later. But this is a really cool bard. One of the two subclasses introduced in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. It's also really cool that I'm getting to talk about this because I'm actually running Curse of Strahd right now for some friends, and we are having an absolute blast. Absolutely love that module. It's a lot of fun. But so the College of Spirits Bard is really cool because it's kind of a ghost storyteller, essentially. So this definitely lends itself more to being a storyteller than necessarily a musician. Not to say that you can't sing spooky songs or things like that, but it does lend itself to that sort of thing, and looking to the beyond to getting your musical or storytelling prowess. Really neat idea. Really works here, and gets some interesting things. And so let's go ahead and see what we get as a College of Spirits Bard. So first of all, at 3rd level, we get Guiding Whispers, and this gives us the Guidance cantrip for free, which is pretty cool, and it also actually alters it. It doesn't count against our number of cantrips, so we get 5 total cantrips now, which was a weakness of the Bard that we talked about last week in that video up there in the iCard above. But now this also has a range of 60 feet, as if your spirits are the ones delivering the guidance. Normally this is a touch spell, so it's really neat that it is now 60 feet. Guidance is a pretty good cantrip. It's basically just bless light, sort of. At least that's how I like to put it. It is bless light. Not quite as good as bless, but it's still pretty nice to have, especially as a cantrip. And now that you have 60-foot range, that makes it so much more viable than it was with touch. You have to get over to that person or do it before combat starts. But this could definitely be used during combat if you want to. If you've got nothing else to do, this could be something to throw out. So I think this is pretty cool. It is just a cantrip, so you know, it's not game changing. It's not something like Eldritch Blast, so it's not crazy. So ultimately it's going to be a 7 out of 10 for me. It's not insane. It's not game breaking or game changing. You could pick this up with a feat. So it's not bad. It doesn't take anything away, but it's not huge as far as its impact. So yeah, 7's about right for this. Also at level 3, we get Spiritual Focus, and so this is pretty cool because we actually get 3 different features at level 3. There's only one other bard that does that. However, this is mainly just a ribbon feature, at least for now, and so basically we get 1 feature here and then 2 at level 6. So for right now, all it does is expands your spellcasting focus options, so you can use a Candle, Crystal Ball, Skull, Spirit Board, or Taroka deck. The Taroka deck is really cool that you can use. I actually have the expanded cards that we actually used for the part in Curse of Strahd. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the part of Curse of Strahd in which it is relevant, we got to do that and do an actual card reading, and it was a whole lot of fun being able to do that. So I think it's awesome that they mentioned that specifically. But yeah, for right now, that's all that does. At 6th level, it'll do something. We'll talk about that here in just a second. For right now, it's not really anything. So there's not really a rating. It doesn't really do anything as far as mechanically for the game. It's all flavor. So we're going to skip over it. Tales from the Beyond, though, is not a ribbon feature. It is kind of our main thing for being a spirits bard, and it is ghost stories. That is what we get. So basically, as a bonus action, we can call on the spirits and they can impart on us a story. This story is rolled on a big table, and it is whatever you roll on your Bardic Inspiration die. So it does take one of your Bardic Inspirations to use, but that's totally fine. It's definitely worth doing. And then later, you can use an action to choose one creature within 30 feet of you and produce the effect. The reason you choose afterwards is because it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, and so depending on who you want to target. You keep this for as long as you want until you get a short or long rest. So you can just wake up, blow one of your Bardic Inspirations right then, and just have that on deck. So that's pretty cool. You also could, if you don't get the one you want, you could blow a second Bardic Inspiration and get another one, and just it will replace the first one. So you can do that if you want to. I would much rather just do it at the beginning of the day when you don't have to worry about it being a last second thing, and then you're good for the day. You just keep in mind that that's the one you have, and then you do it later. So there are 12 possible options. Obviously, you are a D6 at the beginning, and eventually you will make your way up to a D12, so your options get better as you get better with your Bardic Inspiration. But there are a lot of really, really cool options here. There's a lot. I'm not going to go into all of them in detail because that is a lot, and then we can do we'll do a ranking out of 10 for each of those in a separate video. But they're really, really neat. They're really, really neat. So, such as if you roll a 12, which of course is going to be much later in your campaign, you can have them make an intelligence saving throw, which is basically the least common saving throw. So that's good. Or they take psychic damage equal to 3 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration and be stunned until the end of its next turn. That's pretty cool. You give it 3 rolls, so 3d12 plus has to burn its turn being stunned. That's pretty great. And it's psychic damage, so that's very rarely resisted. So that's pretty cool. But there's a lot of things. So there's teleportation, there's temporary hit points, there's invisibility, there's a lot of things on here. And they're all pretty relevant. It's not great that currently it is random. So you may not always have the right one for the situation. So, it is a bonus action to re-roll it, but you may not want to use the one you've got. So it may end up taking up 1, 2, 3 Bardic Inspirations. That's not great, but ultimately it's a really, really cool power. I'm going to rate it an 8 out of 10 because it is random. That does hurt a little bit, but almost all of these are useful and can really, really help. So 8 out of 10. I don't think I can go any higher as it sits, just because you don't get to necessarily choose. Okay, I want the invisibility one. Okay, I want the destroy their mind. I don't get to choose that, so that's a little rough, but overall, really, really cool. So at level 6, we essentially get 2 features because we are jumping back to our spiritual focus. So at 6th level, our focus allows us to do a little bit more with our magic, which is pretty cool. So at 6th level, when we cast bard spells that deal damage or restore hit points using this spiritual focus, you can roll a d6 and gain a bonus to the damage or healing of the spell, which is pretty cool. So just a little bit of extra damage or a little bit of extra healing. That's pretty cool. One thing that's really nice about this is that as of Tasha's, we have expanded the possibilities of Bardic Inspiration. Obviously, you cannot Bardic Inspiration yourself, but this gives you Bardic Inspiration light on yourself, at least following the new features from Tasha's. So that's pretty cool. It expands your options. It is a D6, so it's not insane, but it's essentially like you have Hex always turned on. Pretty much. And it's not gonna change the damage type, but it's essentially like you have Hex always turned on. So that's pretty nice. I don't hate this. I think it's an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's phenomenal, but I do think it's useful. And so just extra D6 to all healing or damage, I'll take it. Pretty cool. Also at level 6, we get Spirit Session, and so basically it is seance time. So we can take an hour-long ritual, and we can surround ourselves with enough creatures equal to our proficiency bonus. So this is already starting to be a problem because this is only as powerful as however many people you have in your party, but the number does include yourself, so that's pretty neat. At the end of the ritual, we can learn one spell from any class list. That's pretty cool. Now, there are some restrictions here. One, it has to be of a level equal to the number of creatures that conducted the ritual or less, and it has to be one of a level that we can cast, obviously, and it has to be either divination or necromancy. This is interesting. That we can pick one extra spell here. So basically we have a much more flexible version of Magical Secrets, and we get it a little early. So that's pretty cool. Where this kind of gets interesting is not so much divination. There are a few on divination that I find could be a little bit interesting here, but I think of more of from a damaging perspective. There's some cool stuff here. So obviously we can't have any higher than 6th level spells just because our proficiency bonus isn't going to go above 6. But so say you have 5 friends and you are number 6, or you even pick up some NPCs along the way and just have them sit there. Either way, if you can get 6th level spells, you can pick up things like Soul Cage, Harm, Eye Bite. Those are really, really cool for 6th level spells, but we've got some other stuff. I like Raise Dead. I like Circle of Death. Contagion is good. But then we get to 3rd level spells. And you can pick up Revivify. You don't normally get Revivify as a bard, but now you can have that. And that's pretty great to me. I really like that you can get Revivify here. That's pretty powerful, and that's only a 3rd level spell. So you can get that pretty early on, actually. So that's really, really great. Just a really, really easy way to pick up Revivify as a bard. So now if you either don't have a cleric or your cleric is down, you can get the cleric right back up. I love that. I think that's so nice. It is not as good as Magical Secrets because it's so limited, but it's really, really cool. It's really, really cool either way. So I've got to give this an 8 out of 10. I think that it is lacking in its restrictions here, but it's still really cool that we can pick up these crucial spells like that. Finally, at 14th level, we get Mystical Connection, and this feature is what we've been waiting on the entire time. So basically, we just roll 2 of our Bardic Inspiration die whenever we use our Tales from the Beyond, and we can choose between the 2 rolls, and if we get the same number, we ignore them, and we can take any of them that we want. This is great. This is a 10 out of 10 feature, I'm just going to tell you, because being able to choose what we want is great. Does this make the subclass a 10 out of 10 though? No, it does not. The thing about bards, and I'm saying this because this is our first bard that we're talking about, because the bard class is so strong, it's really hard to rank these because they're all going to be good, right? No matter which one of these you choose, it's going to be good because it is part of the bard class. So ranking these is really tough because all of them have really cool stuff that they can do, and it's really hard to mess up the bard when it's already so good. So just full disclosure, when I say one is less good than another, it's not to say that it's bad necessarily, unless I just straight up say that it's bad. Yeah, this is a really cool subclass. It is not the strongest of subclasses for the bard, but it is still really awesome. I just want you to know that. So let's see just where our ranking lands. So where does the College of Spirits bard land on our ranking? I will say ranking bards is really tough because bard is just such a good class. So I have to be that much more picky about the subclasses too, because all of these are strong characters. Even the weakest bard is stronger than the strongest of some other classes, just because bard is that big of a difference. So take these rankings with a grain of salt. just because the scale is rather skewed because of how good Bard is. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 compared to the other subclasses. I don't think that it beats out several of the other subclasses. There are quite a few of them. I actually think it is in the bottom half of the subclasses, even though this is one of my favorites flavor-wise. I think it is super cool. A really, really great idea, really, really great concept. I love the ghost stories aspect, but there are others that give you more things that you can do with your Bardic Inspiration. They give you a lot more flexibility with it a lot earlier, and in ways that I think are a lot more useful, at least by and large. So unfortunately, I've got to go with a 7 out of 10 here. It doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's not quite as good as the others. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree with this? Have you looked at the other subclasses to see where we're going to go with that? Next week, we're going to be talking about the College of Creation Bard, so we will be jumping into that one as well, so that'll be a lot of fun. But later this week, this one did pass our test, so we are going to be building a College of Spirits Bard together later this week on the channel, so I hope you are looking forward to that. Until then, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, all the good things, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.